and AWS Linux is t2.micro. Selecting your key pair, you already imported the public key and allow all security group. Remaining everything same, launch instance. So yesterday we discussed grep command that is useful to search for a specific text inside the file, and then head command and tail command, and we discussed pipes, and then later we discussed curl, and then wget and cut awk, and later we discussed vim editor. Okay, and then what else we discussed yesterday? Yeah, so today we will discuss user management. Yeah, and yesterday we discussed permissions also. Okay, read, write, execute. So today we will discuss user management. It is very important as part of the Linux administration, because whenever you want some access to the user, you need to have some, whenever you want some access to the server, you need to have some user created. Okay, so first let us log into our instance. Copy public IP address, and then you have your PEM file in this location, or it can be anywhere. Okay, see users, user, and then devops.pem I have here, and EC2 user is the username and IP address. Just give yes. So now you are inside the Linux server. So this week we will use git bash, and from next week we will use putty. First, you should understand how to connect to the server manually. Okay, so that is why I'm doing these things. Okay, now we are inside the server. So user management. First, let us discuss create user, giving password to the user, and reading the information, reading the user information. Okay, and then updating the user. First thing, to create some user within any server, not only Linux or Windows, or not only Linux, even in Windows or Mac, first you should be the administrator. So let us get the administrator access, sudo su-y, sudo su-. Now you are the administrator. How do you know you are the administrator? Either this is asterisk, or if you just give ID, so then it will show you the user ID is 0. If the user ID is 0, then you are the administrator. Okay. So for root, always user ID is 0. So this is useful as part of shell scripting as well. Okay. If you want to check the logged in user is root or not, you will check the user ID. If it is 0, then you are the root user. That's it. Okay. So now how to create the user? Again, a simple command, create user. The command is nothing but user add and the username. Okay, so this is very simple. The command, by seeing the command itself, you can understand what it is happening. What is happening? User add, adding the username. So now I'm adding the user add Sivakumar. Sivakumar is the username. Okay. So user is added. Now, if you want to read the information of Sivakumar, you can just give ID Sivakumar. Okay. So this is the user ID 1001. So Linux will start creating users from 1000. Okay. So below 1000, those are system users. The system users. Okay. Some default Linux will reserve those to create some system users. We will understand system users in a later point of time. Okay. So this is how you can read the information of a single user. If you want to read the information of all users, you know already that is etc/permission password. So this is where all the user information is stored. You can see this is our EC2 user. His user ID is 1000. Okay, and by default, this is his home location, and this is the bash terminal for him. Okay, so remaining options we will slowly understand. You can just see EC2 default user. This is the description. So now I created Sivakumar user. 1001 is the user ID, and actually this is the group ID. Shortly we will understand what is it. The home location is /home/Sivakumar, just like home EC2 user. Okay, so this is the file where Linux stores the user information. Okay, users info, and you can just open this as get entries of password. Okay, so this is how also you can open. So this is about creating the user, very simple command, and how to create password. Okay, so the command is password like this. Okay, PASSWD and the username. Okay, so let us type PASSWD and then Sivakumar. So it is asking either first time setting or changing the password. The command is the same, PASSWD password Sivakumar. So I'm just giving it as admin123. Admin123. So there is a warning. So the password you are using, it is dictionary check. So that is why it is giving us warning. Okay, bad password. It's fine for now, but in production, you will keep it very secured and non-dictionary password. So we created the user and we set the password. Both we have done. Okay. And then, so just creating the user and setting the password is not enough. So this person should log in. So now Sivakumar should log into the system. Okay. So Sivakumar should log into the system. Now let me take another window. Yes, this is another window. You don't have any keys, SSH. No need to give -i because we don't have any keys for him. For now, let us take the IP address. So instead of private key, we are going to use username @IP address. Okay. So now it is saying permission denied. There is no keys passed. So usually, you know the syntax, that is SSH-i private key and then username @IP. So you know this, but we don't have any private key. Instead of that, we have the password. So by default, what Linux does is Linux disable password authentication. Okay. So how to enable password authentication? Okay. So there is a file inside etc folder, that is ssh/sshd_config. So this is where you can configure your SSH. Okay. So this is where you can configure your SSH. This is the file. You need to edit this file. Okay. So, but this is very crucial. If you do some mistakes in this file, then you may lose the access to the server completely. Okay, because all the SSH information is there. SSH is the central point where you can connect to the server. So SSHD config is a crucial file. You should not do mistake here. Okay. So for safety, what we do, we take backup. We take backup of SSHD config. Okay. So let us take the backup. Just copy etc ssh sshd_config into some folder. For example, I'm just giving it inside the temp sshd config underscore backup. Okay, I just copied it to somewhere else as a backup. Now let us open this vim etc. You know the vim editor sshd-config. Okay, good. Now you are in escape mode. Go to colon mode. Search for the word called password. Okay, you can see here password authentication. No, you need to enable it. Just keep the S. Instead of no, just keep the S. So I went into the insert mode and kept S. Come back to the escape and now colon, right, quit, enter. Okay. So now how do you know you have done the changes properly or not? So there is a command called sshd-t. sshd-t is the command so that can check the syntax of this one. Okay. So now let us do some mistakes and then check. So by mistake, you are entering something by mistake. You're entering something like this and then saving it. Okay, now let us test this. It is saying bad configuration. So that is how it is useful. So this command will always check for the syntax. Okay. So first you take the backup of sshd config and then edit the file etc/ssh/sshd config and check for this. We'll check for syntax. Okay, so now it is saying it is wrong. Let us go and remove that line. Okay. So now sshd-t. So it is good. So now you enable the password authentication. So now you need to restart the service also to get the effect. So that is systemctl restart sshd. Okay. So you'll understand later as part of our service management. So it is done. Now this user should be able to log in with password. Now it is asking for password admin123. Okay, now you can see this user is Shivakumar. He got the access. Where is he? He is already in his home folder, home/Shivakumar. Okay. So that's it. Like a summary, we are creating the user, we are setting the password, and then we are changing the etc sshd config to allow password authentication. Okay, but we can anyhow, we can later check, we can later create the private key and public key for him, and we can enable the key based authentication also. And you take the backup of this sshd config and you edit it, and you have to check the syntax sshd-t before you go for restart. Okay, if you do some mistake without checking, if you restart, then you cannot get the access to the server again. Okay, so this is about creating the user, but creating user is not enough, because so there will be in real-time projects, there will be a group called, a team called DevOps is there. Okay, you will be added to DevOps group. Okay, so now what we have to do, we have to create a group. Okay, how to create a group? So I said yesterday, whenever you create a user, there will be a group also created, that is Shivakumar. Okay, so that is the Linux default behavior, we cannot change. Whenever you create user, a group also created on same name. On same username. Okay. So every user have two types of groups. One is primary group and the other one is secondary group. Okay. So how can you use these groups? He is the DevOps. He's in DevOps team. Can have DevOps group has his primary, and then for some time he may have to handle the responsibilities of testing group. So we will add the secondary group of testers to him. Okay. So and later you can remove the secondary group once he has done whatever he need. Okay. Maybe we will give him temporary tester access so that he can do something on testing if he is aware. So then once he is done with his all activities, we can remove this group from him. So just remember there are always two types of groups in Linux, primary group and secondary group. This information is the primary group and this information is the secondary group. Now we have his primary group as Sivakumar and secondary group also as Sivakumar. So now let us create group add, just like user add, group add DevOps. So this is the command to create the group. Group add and then group name. Okay. So now basically anything is CRUD here also. Creating the user, reading the user information, updating the user and deleting the user. Now we will see how to update the user. So now what is our requirement? We want to add Sivakumar to the DevOps group. So the command is nothing but just user modification, that is user mod -g and then group name and then username. Okay, so this is the simple command. Now user mod -g, group name is DevOps, and this is Sivakumar. Okay, now let us type this. Now ID space Sivakumar, you can see we changed his default group Sivakumar to DevOps. Now he is part of the DevOps group. Okay. So now let us create another group, tester, and add testers as secondary group to Sivakumar. So this is what we have to do it. Okay. Now group add testers. Okay. So this is created. How to get the entries of this get ent group. Now you can see there is a DevOps group and the group ID is 1002. And now testers group ID is 1003. So get ent group will show the information on groups. Okay, that's it. So now let us add this as a secondary group. So again user mod. Now this time -a for appending, capital G for secondary group, small g is for primary group, capital G is for secondary group, and then testers space username Sivakumar. Okay. Now you can check ID space Sivakumar. So a secondary group of testers is added. Okay. So that is about adding the primary group and then secondary group to the user. So now how can you remove the entry? Maybe he completed the responsibilities of testing in 3 or 4 days. Now you should remove the access of testing from him. Now it is like That is G password -D delete, and then group name, and then username. Okay. So G password -D testers, and then username. Okay, now you can check ID space Sivakumar. Mm, Oh, sorry, this is reverse. Sivakumar and then testers. Okay. Now ID space Sivakumar. So this is the so G password -D. This is not the group name. This is username. So you no need to remember all these things. You just understand the concept. Okay. And at any point of time, you can find the clear documentation, user management in Linux. Okay, can get the information from any website. Just right now, you need to understand the concept, whatever I'm explaining. So you can see here. So everywhere you can find it. So adding the group. In any website you can find it, or any YouTube video also you can find it. So there will be lot of options, lot of documentation also. Okay. So whenever you just want to understand the syntax, you can always search for Google. No need to worry, no need to remember completely. So similarly, let us try to remove the user from DevOps. You cannot do this actually because it is mandatory. User should be part of at least one group, at least one primary group. Okay. So you cannot delete that directly. So what you have to do now, let us think. User is leaving organization. Okay. Second. So my voice is clear, right? Somebody is facing any audio problem? Yeah, it is clear from my side. Please check from your side audio settings. Okay, user is leaving the organization. Now what we have to do, we need to remove him from DevOps group. Okay, and then we need to delete the user. So these are the two responsibilities you have to do. Okay. So before doing this, let us understand how the SSH key authentication to the user. So till now we have seen the password authentication. How can you enable SSH key access to the user? Let us see this now. Okay. So for this, like user Sivakumar have to create his public and private key. Okay. Share public key to admin. Okay, maybe he will send in a mail. Okay, is a public key. So now as an administrator, or like, so now I'm the Sivakumar here. I'm just exiting from the Linux. Here I'm just creating a directory called Sivakumar. And here I'm having my keys SSH -keygen -f Sivakumar. So I'm generating these two files. Enter. Now ls-l. Okay, you have Sivakumar and sivakumar.pub. Okay, so you need to share this to the administrator. So this git bash is a mini Linux for your Windows. You can use Linux commands inside your Windows operating system also. That is how the git bash is also very useful. I'm just renaming this as sivakumar.pem. Okay. So if it is like this, you are in Windows. If it is like this, you are inside the Linux server, that you have to understand. So now I need to share this public key to the administrator. Like, just imagine you are sending in an email to your administrator. Okay. So now this is his public. Now let me go to the administrator. So now here I need to give him the SSH key access. So for that, what I have to do is I have to go to his home folder, home Sivakumar. Okay, and then here, let me create a directory called .ssh. So this is mandatory. Creating the directory .ssh is mandatory in his home folder. And then remember, so permissions, we know the permissions. Yesterday we discussed, right? So this SSH folder is particularly to the Sivakumar. Other users, they should not have any access to this, either group or other user. Okay. So what you have to do is you have to remove all access for group and other user. So now the access we have to do it here is chmod, create a directory. First thing, I'm just writing it, create a directory inside home folder of Sivakumar, that is .ssh. So this is purely for Sivakumar, not for any other group members, not for others. So that is why you should have change mod 700 and then .ssh. Okay. So this is very important. Otherwise, your SSH key mechanism will not work. Yes, chmod 700.ssh. It means you are giving access to the Sivakumar user only, nothing else, no one else. So chmod 700.ssh. Now you can check the permissions. So this is only for the Sivakumar. Okay. And then inside this, inside SSH, you have to create a file called authorized keys. Okay. File name should be the same, authorized keys. And here you need to paste the public key of Sivakumar. Okay. Insert, if you want to, so I copied here. If you want to paste it, that is just like shift insert. Okay. I'm saving it. Now, what is the permission here? Something. So others has read access. So others should not see your keys. So the permission here should be change mod SSH, create a file called authorized keys. Authorized keys. Authorized is S or Z. I don't know. Need to check. Authorized keys Linux. So Z, it is Z, not S. Okay. Move, renaming it. Okay. So others should not have the read access also, not even group and not even the other user. So the maximum permission here is, okay, what are the permissions generally for read, write, and then execute? So read is nothing but so here 1 and then 2 and then 4. Okay. So the maximum permission you can have is 600. 600 is nothing but read and write access 4 plus 2. Read and write access to user, no access to group, and then no access to others. Okay, so that is why you should have maximum 600. If you have 400 also, it is very good. Just read access. Maximum 600 or 400. 400 means you are giving read access also to the Sivakumar. Okay, so do this ch mod 400 authorized keys. Okay, so this is one thing. And another step you have to do is this is on root access. So this is the ownership. Yesterday we discussed the permissions. Yesterday we discussed permissions here. Oh, sorry. Yesterday we discussed permissions. Now you need to check the ownership. So ownership, let us discuss that. So here it is showing the ownership as root. This is the user. This is the group. So this file has the ownership of root user and root group. So what you have to change here is you need to change the ownership to user Sivakumar. Otherwise he cannot, because if it is on root access, how can he get the access to the keys? So that is why this is purely the home folder of Sivakumar. Everything should be on the Sivakumar ownership. The command is ch own change ownership, and the ch own change ownership and the user colon and group and then file name. Okay, file name or folder, whatever it is. So now let us change the entire group itself, entire folder itself. ls-lj. So now this .ssh should be on the Sivakumar. Okay, so now you can give ch ownership Sivakumar colon Sivakumar, and it has the files also inside. So you need to always give recursive option, so that inside the files also will be changed automatically. Now you can just check it. It is on Sivakumar. Go to SSH. Inside it has Sivakumar and Sivakumar. Okay. So you changed it, the ownership. This is also very important. So that's it. These are the steps. So let us just summarize the steps. First thing, go to the user Sivakumar have to create his public key and private key pair. Now, as the admin, you create a directory .ssh inside the home folder of Sivakumar and change the permissions and create a file called authorized keys. Paste public key here, public key of Sivakumar, and then you should give maximum 600 or 400 permissions. You should change the ownership of the entire folder. So this is also important question as part of interviews, how to change the ownership inside Linux. The command is ch1, and you should have root access. Always remember that, otherwise you cannot. Okay. So now let us test the Sivakumar user can log in with his key or not. So he is inside this. Okay, now SSH -i Sivakumar.pem. The username is Sivakumar @IP address. What is the IP address? This is the IP address. Okay. You can see he logged in with the private key. Okay. So this is how you give access to the Sivakumar user through private key. Okay. So few companies, they will give the passwords, and few companies, they will only give the key-based access. So now let us discuss how to deal when user is leaving the organization. So first of all, we need to remove him from the DevOps group. Okay, it is. So earlier we tried, we are unable to remove him. Chief password -d Sivakumar, and then from DevOps. It is not possible. So instead of that, what we can do is, so this is why you can't delete user from primary group. So for this purpose only, Linux created a default group called Sivakumar when we create the user. So what you can do is, first you need to change his primary group to his own group. Okay, what is his own group? Sivakumar. So first let us do this. So that is G password. Sorry, we need to change the group user mod -G, and then add him to Sivakumar group. That's it. Now you check Sivakumar is there. Okay, so this automatically removed him from the DevOps group. So that's what we did. And now you can delete the user. So first step is done. How to delete the user? That is nothing but user del and then username Sivakumar. User delete and then Sivakumar. So it is saying currently cannot be deleted because Sivakumar user is already logged in. So let us exit from here and let us delete it again. So it is done. If you search ID Sivakumar, there is no user. Now let us try to log in. So you cannot. Okay. So this is how we deleted the user. Now entire project is going down. Maybe somebody is removing the DevOps group completely, DevOps team itself. There is no project. You have to delete the group also. So group delete is nothing but just group del command and then group name. That's it. So you are unable to delete the group if it has the users. For example, let us create a user called Ramesh. User add Ramesh and then add him to DevOps group. Okay, ID Ramesh. So now let us try to delete this group del DevOps. Sorry, group del DevOps. So it is saying cannot remove the primary group of user Ramesh. So when you can delete the group, you can only delete the group if it has no users. Okay, so this is a simple common sense. If the group has the users, how can you delete it? Other users also will be affected. Okay, so that is why first thing, suppose if you are removing the entire DevOps team, first you should remove users from group and then delete. So this is the one. This is what the point you should remember. Okay, now how can I remove the user from this group? Just user mod -G and then add him to his own group first. Okay, now ID Ramesh. Okay, so now you can go for group deletion because it don't have any members. Group del, and then what is it? DevOps. Okay, now get ent group. So there is no DevOps group at all. Okay. So yeah, so this is how you can have the user management inside Linux. So this is while discussing the DevOps projects, maybe in next week sessions, we may create another kind of users like system users. Okay, so that anyhow we will do it as part of the project configuration. So any doubts in this user management? You can raise your hand. Yeah, Nana Prasuna.
Hi, sir.
Yeah, hi Prasuna.
Yeah, actually, before deleting the user, you have deleted the user from the group, right?
Yes.
Primary group. What about the secondary group, sir? Do we need to delete that also? I mean, do we
No,
need?
only primary group.
He will be exited from the secondary group automatically.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir. That's it.
Most welcome. So let us discuss this user management topic if we have some doubts. Satta.
Yeah, hello, hi Siva. Good morning.
Yeah, hi Satta. Good morning.
Like after like you have created that UID group also, or it came automatically?
It is automatically. You can also have some control. You can give your own user ID also generally, but it's always safe to give more than 1,000.
Okay. And other doubt is, can we create any automation rules so that if user exit from organization, so he can it will automatically delete his data? Can we set?
Yeah, yeah. You can write shell scripts,
Okay.
or you can write Ansible. So we will discuss that as part of our shell scripting.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay. Ramesh. Ramireddy.
Yeah, hi, sure.
Yeah, hi
Hello.
Ramireddy. Yeah, hello.
Yeah, first you have created Sukumar user and enabled password for that. After that, you have added the key to that user.
Yes.
By logging to the user with key, it's not asking password.
So it's not able to find the user itself. It is just trying to. It's just trying to ask the password. Even you enter the right password, it will. You cannot log in. Not mean 1, 2, 3. Because
so
the
if I
entire
want
user.
to enable password as well.
So it has
key.
already password enabled, key enabled. Both it is enabled. Okay, but generally you will go for key. If it is a secure system, you can go for key. You can remove the password authentication as no again.
So if I want to log in with key and password, is it possible?
Yeah, with key and password at a time you cannot. Either key or password.
Okay.
Okay. Rahim Basha.
Hi Shiva, good morning.
Yeah, hi, good morning.
My question is like when deleting the group, we are deleting all the users that are there in the group, and then we are deleting the group, right?
Yeah, removing the users.
Yeah. So in that case, if there are multiple users in the group, so do we have to delete them one by one and then delete the group, or can we delete all the users?
You can have some automation to remove the users. So generally, if you are removing the DevOps team itself, what does it mean? You need to change the person to another group, right? For example, just think this: in a project, there is a DevOps team. You are going to ram down the entire team itself. First, what HRs will do, so they will allocate them to the another project.
Okay.
So that is why you have to remove the users first, and then later you have to remove the group. You can do some automations like this through shell scripting.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Yes. Kishore CH.
Yeah, my question already covered in the last.
Yeah, good. Thank
Yeah.
you. Sai.
Yeah, hi Shiva, good morning.
Yeah, hi, good morning.
Yeah, I joined little late. Can you explain the difference between primary group and secondary group? Like,
Primary is your primary responsibility. Secondary is your additional responsibility. Okay, so yeah, so then watch the recording again for the entire concept.
Okay.
Thank you so
Okay,
much. Sheikh Ahmed.
Yeah, hi Shiva.
Yeah, hi.
So here, like apart, if we are not creating the primary and public key, so
Yeah.
password and username authentication, right? So as of now, we
Password.
have didn't bring.
Sorry, once again, not understood you.
As of now, the authentication of username and password. So to connect the server, you have enabled it, right?
Yeah, correct.
So you said in the backend it is for Windows. So what if it is another OS?
No, I never said for Windows. So I enable it for Linux only.
Okay, it is for Linux. So there is a different window you are showing, like we need to identify it as a Windows. I didn't get that.
I'm saying this is you are in Windows. This means you are in Windows.
Okay, these type of
this means you are in Linux. It is clearly showing you the IP address. This is the private IP. You are the root. And this one, it is in Windows. You can see that, right? Yeah, that is the how you differentiate. So this git bash is used as a mini Linux environment. You can use the Linux commands here.
So as currently we are as currently we are in Windows laptop, so we have came to this window and we enable the authentication. That's it.
Yeah. Thank you. So we will move to another topic now. That is the topic. Next topic is process management. The process management. Let us discuss a simple example. For example, this is our joindevops.com. So, and like, so I am the root. Sivakumar is the root. So only I cannot run this entire system. So I will have our team members. So first remember one point. So I said as part of DevOps also, everything in this world is a process. If you want best results, you should follow the process. Remember this thing, not only for DevOps, everything. You need to follow process. So for every process, how can you track? So that is the point here. So now I am the root. Sivakumar is the root. For example, I'm managing this entire system. So we have another team like chat support team. So their responsibility is to reply to chats. Okay. Similarly, call support, if we have call support team should respond to calls. So just assume this as a process. For example, we started the AWS 74S batch. Okay, so this is the batch. So I'm the root, Shivakumar is the root. So there will be an ID to track this. So in process instance ID, process instance ID. So since this is a root, let us make this as 0. So when this process will end, when the process of this Shivakumar will end, whenever the batch is completed, so the process will end. So Shivakumar task will end once the batch is completed. Just to understand this a general scenario. Don't go for any technical things. Once the batch ends. So my task will end once the batch ends. So chat support team should reply to the chats. Maybe for every message, so they will get one task. For example, let us just think. For example, Ramesh sent a message. So now chat support team task will start. Okay. So we will create one task ID. Okay. And once chat support team completed response, so their task is ended. Okay. So maybe task ID 100. 100 is task ID. It is completed. So just understand this. So Shivakumar is the root, his process instance ID is the 0. So when his task is completed, so he has the task of like giving the training for the entire batch for 3.5 months. So when his task will be completed, once the batch is ending. So he has a very long task here. But he has his team members, chat support team should reply to the chats. This is the responsibility. For every message they get, there will be one task ID. So that is the process, right? So here, for example, Ramesh sent a message, chat support team task will start. We will create one task ID 100. Once they respond, their task is completed. So how should we understand his task is completed? Like chat support, what is the task ID is 100. Who gave the task? Root is giving the task. Now, once the task is completed, they should report to root. Okay, so just like in our projects, we will be getting a lot of tasks. So once the task is completed, whom we report to our team leader saying that you send a mail. So you have given me this task, I completed, please check it. So you should report to root. Now here, the task ID is 100. The parent task is 0. So it means what you are saying is you are reporting to the main task 0. This is the batch owner. Like you are saying, my task is 100. You are sending an email to the task 0. My task is 100. It is completed. So here in Linux world, we call it as process. Okay. Now let us understand the process management here. So as I said, everything inside Linux is the process. If you just run PS, this is nothing but process. So you have a lot of process here. Everything has its process instance ID. When it comes to process management, everything in Linux is a process. For that, a process instance ID, PID, is created. Okay. So how you list down the process is list down the process. The command is ps. Okay, so in Windows also we have the process. If you just go for your task manager, so there will be a lot of process running in the background. You can see Chrome. Your Chrome is running. I have opened multiple tabs. Each and every tab has its own process instance ID. And you have a lot of other softwares running. A lot of things are happening inside in background of your system. So everything is a process. So whatever the operating system do, a simple single task also, it will create a process instance ID. Okay, and who is running this process? How much CPU is consuming? How much RAM is consuming? What is the description? Everything is listed down here. Okay, so that is called the process. Now these are the process active in this terminal. Okay, so if you want all process inside the system, ts-ef, you can see all the process. So now whenever you start your Linux, there will be two processes. Root, where the process instance ID, PPID is 0. So now in this situation, the process ID is 100, PPID, parent process instance ID is 0. Just like in your companies, your task is 100, your PPID is your team leader. So here, whenever the Linux system is started, so there will be actually two process. 0 is the root process, and it will start process instance 1, process instance 2. Remaining whatever it has, everything will has one process instance ID, and whom it should report. It should report to the parent process 2. Okay, so like this, the operating system will work. Okay, so now let us just understand once again as part of team, DevOps team. Who is the leader? Maybe DevOps team leader. He has the process instance ID 0. He is the root of everything. He is the owner. Now senior DevOps engineer. Okay, his process instance ID is 1. What is his PPID? PPID is 0 because he has to report to the team leader. So now let us have another person, junior DevOps engineer. Okay, his process instance ID is 2. What is his parent process instance ID is whom he should report immediately. He should report to senior DevOps engineer. That is 1. Okay, so now let us have DevOps training fresher. Okay, his PID is 3. Who is his parent process instance ID? It is nothing but junior DevOps engineer. So like this, the hierarchy will work in general scenario. So the same scenario, it will work in Linux also. You'll be getting lot of process. Every process has process instance ID and its parent. Who is the parent? Who it should report. Okay. So now as I said, everything has a process. Now I gave ps-ef command to the Linux. I asked Linux, hey Linux, please give me the result of this command. Then what Linux did in background, it created a process instance ID for this task 3794. And who is the report? 3353. Who is 3353? It is my bash. You can see here. So what is happening in background when you hit ps-ef? You are telling Linux, or you are assigning a task to Linux to give the result of ps-ef. Okay, so now what Linux does in the background, first it will create process instance ID. What is the process instance ID here? 3794. whom it should report? It should report to 3353. Who is 3353? Your bash. This is the bash. This is the terminal. Okay. 3353 is the PPID. So just like this, a junior DevOps engineer, like the task is coming from DevOps team. He created one task. Then he will give it to senior DevOps engineer. He will create another task. He will give it to junior DevOps engineer. He will create another task. He will give to DevOps training. So like this, the task result will go up to the DevOps team leader. That is the hierarchy. The same way it will also follow here. Now 3353 is the process instance ID. So it completed, and then now you can see if you run this 3794 is gone, and you got another thing that is 3849 of the current command. Now who is the reporter? 3353. So even to give a result of a simple command also, process ID will be created in Linux. So that is how the operating system works. Not only Linux, each and every operating system, everything is a process inside the operating system. It has the ID. So now there are two kinds of process. One is foreground process, and the second one is background process. A foreground process is running in the foreground. For example, let me type sleep 10 seconds. So now I'm telling Linux to go sleep for 10 seconds. So within this 10 seconds, you cannot do anything because it's already in sleep mode. Once after 10 seconds is over, then only it will come out. Now you can see it came out. Okay. So this is the foreground process. You cannot do anything. Nothing will respond. Once after 10 seconds only, so this will come out. So this is the foreground process, running the process in the foreground. What is background process? Background process is nothing but doing the work in background. Now, for example, sleep 100, if you give ampersand, it will take the process to the background. Sleep 10 seconds, or let's give 20 seconds. It will take it into the background if you give ampersand. So now it created a process instance ID 3857. Now let us give ps-ef. You can see 3857. So this will run for 20 seconds. After that, it will automatically end it. So you gave the task to Linux to sleep for 20 seconds in the background. So it created a process instance ID. 3353 is your terminal, and then it will sleep for 20 seconds and it will be deleted. Now you can see sleep 20, it is done. So here 0, this is the parent for everything. Okay, so now I am running sleep 20 again. Now if you want to search for it, ps-ef pipe corrupt sleep. So now this is the process instance ID 3862. 3353 is the parent process instance ID. So you will get this question in interviews. There will be a lot of process running. How can you search for the Java process? ps-corrupt, go for Java. Okay, so there is no Java process running. Then what is this? So this is the command of this one itself. Okay. So now by mistake, you created some process. Okay, sorry. Let us take it into background. By mistake, you created some process. You want to kill the process. Or for example, something is not running. What you do here inside Windows, you will just come here and you will create on end task. Okay. So similarly, if something is not responding, or if you want to end some process, you have a command called kill and then process instance ID. What is the process instance ID here? 3869. Now you can just search. It is terminated. So ending the process is nothing but kill and then process instance ID. So sometimes our servers will not respond. So at that time, what we do is we will kill the process and then we will restart it. So that's what we do in our real-time projects. So there is another thing called kill-9 process instance ID. What is the difference between these two is you are requesting here. You are requesting to end the task. Now here you are forcing. End the task. Okay, so this is like a random person is stopping your vehicle on the road. So this is like a traffic inspector is trying to stop your vehicle. So you are forced to stop. That is the signal here, just like. So why we have this signal is sometimes process will not stop, like Java process or something applications will not stop. You will do the force kill. Okay, here it is terminated. Here it is directly killed. So you are not telling, you are just killing. That's it. So this is about the process management. So these commands are very useful whenever you are working in our DevOps environment. You need to check your application is running or not. At that time, you will use ps-ef grep sleep, and there is another command called top. So this will list down all the process inside the system, how much memory it is taking. So you can see here 98 tasks are total running. 98 total tasks are there. One is running actively. 54 tasks are sleeping. Whenever they get work, they will immediately wake up. Okay. And this is the process instance ID, which user it is running, and remaining statistics like what is the CPU, what is the memory, how much time, and what is the command. Everything you will get it here. Okay. You can see the stop command itself got some process instance ID. It's the top, somewhere it will come. You can see here. Randomly it is coming. This top command itself got some process instance ID. Control C. So yeah, this is about the process management here. So remember, foreground and background process. We will create this kind of process while deploying our projects anyhow. And the next thing we have is package management. Package management is nothing but installing the packages in your system. So how you install the packages in Windows, you will go to any website, you will download and you will click next, then that's it. So here, how to install the packages is there will be a command. So for every distribution for Ubuntu, so the command is apt-get. Okay. For CentOS, the command is yum. And for AWS Linux 2, so Amazon itself has some command that is Amazon Linux extras, and you can use yum also. Okay. So now what I have to do is I want to install a package called Git. git, I want to install it. You can say git command is not found. Why you want git? I want to clone some repository, GitHub repository here. For example, like this. I have some repository, GitHub. Shit. Once again. I have a repository called git here. I want to clone it inside the Linux server. To clone it, the command is generally git clone. Git clone. So git command is not found. So you have to install the package. How you install the package? Just you can search AWS Linux 2. This is the OS. Install git. Okay, you can get any website, or if you want to install in Ubuntu install git. Okay, so here you will get the command. First, you need to update the repository. So we will shortly discuss what is this. It's not the one actually. Amazon Linux extras. So for Ubuntu, it is apt install kit. Generally for CentOS, it is directly m install kit. And for Amazon, so we need to do some little bit configuration. Enable EPL repos for AWS Linux 2. So if you want to understand what is the distribution of this, there is a command cat etc/os-release. So this is the command. They will tell you what is the distribution you are using. Okay, Amazon Linux version 2. Okay, this is like CentOS, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, Fedora. So as we discussed, AWS Linux 2 is exactly same as CentOS, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, and Fedora. Okay, but AWS Linux took the code of RHEL and then they renamed it as AWS Linux 2, and it has installed few things on top of it, the utilities and shell. So that came as, yeah, you can see. Let us install this. Yum install git. So now it is saying, I'm going to install. This is the package you are asking, and it has some dependencies also like this. If you press Y, it will install. Okay, just remember this step while doing with your AWS Linux 2, a simple command you need to give it. Okay, and then yum install git -y. So m is the command package manager for generally RHEL, CentOS, Fedora, and AWS Linux also. So what it is doing in the background. So usually you get a lot of updates from your operating system, just like this. So whenever you click, so it will say there is an update, please click to install Windows updates or whatever. So how is it going in the background? So let us draw a simple diagram. So it is your laptop. And there is an internet. So your laptop is connected to internet. Okay. So you will get some updates in your laptop. It will get some pop-ups here. So there is an update, click to install. When you click, so your laptop has some configuration, some URLs. So they will reach to internet and it will fetch the updates. Okay. So while fetching the updates, it has the dependency resolution, automatic dependency resolution. So like this here, your Git is dependent on these packages. So without installing these packages, Git will not work. So then intelligently this M is installing these packages and finally this Git. Okay. So where is the information it is coming from? So the information is coming from CD, etc. There will be m.repos.t and here there will be some packages. Just check cat epel dot repo. So you can see here, so there are some URLs configured. So whenever you hit m install git, so your OS or your Linux server will connect to the internet on these URLs and they will fetch the Git and its dependencies. Okay. Yum install git -y. So now Yum, your package manager, Yum is contacting the internet on those URLs, whatever is configured in the background, and they are fetching and -y, sorry, let me show you this one also. Yum install git. So they are fetching the information. These are the dependency packages you must install. And this is the main package. And it is saying download size is 13 MB. After install, there will be 44 MB. If you just give Y, so then it will install automatically. Okay. So now you get the Git access. Now you can see you install the Git command. So like this in our daily work, we need to install a lot of commands as part of our work. So at that time you use yum command to install the packages. Okay, so that is about installing the package. If you want to remove, just m remove git -y. Okay, yum remove git -y. It will remove. That's it. Okay. So how many packages are available? Yum list available. If you just click. So these many packages are available through your repository. You can install any package on your wish. So yum list all will give you some list. Yum list all. So it will show you all packages, including install packages. Yum list, you are listing only installed packages. Okay, now if you want to count word count, pipe word count -l. So 23,125 total packages are there. So out of them, how many are installed in your system? Yum list installed. Pipe word count, how many number of lines? 462 packages are installed. Okay. Yum list available. Available is nothing but all minus installed. That's it. Okay. Yum list available. Okay. So these are the available packages which are not installed. You can install it through the M command. So this is what it means: installing the package, removing the package. If you want to install any package, you can simply search in the internet, or we have the M search command also. M search. So you can go for M search any package, for example. Then it will search all the repositories and it will tell you what is the package. There is PHP MB string package available for this. Okay. So if you search M search kit also, will give you all the packages on the name kit. You can see there are a lot of things. Okay. So this is how you use M as package manager command in our RHEL operating systems. So today we discussed user management. We saw how to create the user, how to set the password, how can he log in, how to add him to the primary and secondary groups, how can you enable SSH access to the user, and we saw deleting the user, deleting the group when they are leaving, and process management. Process management, package management are simple concepts. Just understand everything is a process inside the Linux operating system. It has process instance ID and parent process instance ID. If you want to kill it, two types of process, foreground and background process. If you want to kill it, just kill PID. Don't kill PPID. Okay. Kill process instance ID. And then package management. Every Linux distribution have one package, either Ubuntu apt-get CentOS M, and then you are installing Git. But for AWS Linux, you need to enable it with some command like this. Okay. So instead of pressing Y after that, you can just give -Y. It will take it automatically. Okay. Now, if you give yum install git -Y, so automatically it will not ask for, it will not wait for your confirmation. It will directly install. Okay. So that's all for today. We can end till here. And yeah, you practice as usual. You can find the recording after 2 hours. Practice it and join the next session tomorrow on the same time. Okay, so let's have a few questions. Nishal, you have some question?
Hi Shiva. Shiva,
Hi,
you removed the Git, right? After installing, you removed the Git, right?
Yes, yes.
How to check the status? We can use pf-ef grep. We can use Git to check the status if it is uninstalled or not.
It is clearly saying install and uninstall. There is, I mean, so whenever the command is ended, for example, when the command is ended, I am giving install install git -y. So it is doing some process. By the time the process is ended, you can just give M. This is already done. It is completed in the background. So task will started and then it ended at the before you get the response itself. Okay, you cannot see that it's already ended in the background. Okay, if it is running, then you can. If it is still running, then you can see the process ID. If it is done, then it is ending it directly. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Raju, you have some question?
Yeah, Shiva.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, hi. Difference you have explained regarding that PS hyphen EF, right? What
Yes.
is the exact difference between PS hyphen E and EF?
The PS is showing the active process for this user only.
Okay.
Okay. So not all the process. We have a lot of background process also running. You just give PS hyphen EF, it will clearly tell you what is the options you have. Where is it? Yes,
With
hyphen
same
L.
command, like we can use the PS hyphen E
So that-
and same grep Java, but it will show some different. I just want to know what is the difference.
So this is the entire manual. Okay, so you can see
Yeah,
PS
E and
hyphen
EF.
E to see each and every process on the system.
Okay.
Okay, so that is the PS hyphen EF generally. If you want only the active process, Q. If you want only the active process of this terminal, okay, you can only, these processes are only for this user. For example, there will be 10 to 20% are logged in inside this Linux. Okay, maybe other team members. If you want to see each and every process, then you can give PS-EF. That means each and every process. That's it.
Yeah,
E
sure.
means each and every. You can just think like that. Each and every process of all users of all process. PS is only showing the active process for this user only.
Okay.
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 Yeah. Most welcome. Similarly, like PS-EF, you can just give PS aux. Okay. Yeah. So that's all for today. We'll get the recording.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, sir.
Yes.
Actually, do we need to create the M repositories? I mean, that much level is needed for this, or just
No, I install M repository itself. You don't need to create anything. So you just run this command, it will do it automatically.
okay? Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, most welcome. So that's all for today's session. I think, yeah, you can practice and join tomorrow's session on the same time. Have a nice day. Thanks for joining. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.